What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back and checking out today's video. So what I want to talk about today is greasing. Greasing things such as tractors, which is something that any one of us that has something such as a tractor needs to do to keep up on our maintenance. It's very critical. But greasing is one of those things that can be often neglected just because of how big of a hassle it tends to be. If you go to the store, like what I did years back when I bought my first grease gun and grease, it was an absolute nightmare getting that gun loaded with the grease tube. And then even when I was greasing, trying to get the grease nozzle aligned properly so that the grease would actually go in the grease connector thingy, whatever that's called. You know, you would think that I would study up on some of this stuff when I make my videos, but my mind has a tendency to go blank and I forget what everything is called. But anyway, so recently, you know, having just gotten my Kubota tractor this year, greasing became a very critical thing that I need to make sure I keep up on. You know, the Kubota recommends that every 10 hours of use, you grease everything up. And probably depending on how often you use it, your tractor, you may want to do it more than that. It certainly doesn't hurt to you know, more frequently, make sure everything's greased up. And part of that experience, you want to make it so that it's not a chore that you absolutely dread doing. So what I always do is whenever I have something, I always look for the best ways that I can do something to make it more, I don't even know if appealing is the right word, but make it so that it's not something that I dread quite as much. So the first thing that I ended up buying when I first greased up my tractor after the first 10 hours of use, I discovered this LockNLube nozzle that you can attach to your grease gun, which allows you to basically lock on to the little grease outlet thingies. And forgive me for forgetting what that thing is called, but you all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this was a huge help to make sure that it's locked on and I'm actually getting the grease inside where it needs to go instead of it just coming out on the outside of it and not actually greasing up what I needed to grease up. So picked up one of these. I think it was like $35 or something along those lines, which seems kind of expensive for what it is. But honestly, it makes it a lot easier because you can lock right on and then you don't have to worry about like holding it and making sure it's on there right. Definitely a lifesaver. The other issue is my grease gun. The grease gun that I had was pretty much a piece of junk. I bought it, I don't know how many years back, but I remember having a heck of a time figuring out how to even, when I first got it, get the grease in there and you know, do everything I needed to do to make sure that it came through and wasn't a complete mess. Well, it was a huge mess. And then over the years, as I've had, you know, the grease gun hanging there, it's just been leaking grease and just making a big, huge mess. And so I was doing a little bit of research trying to figure out, okay, maybe I just need to get a better quality grease gun. Maybe the one I have is just a cheap pile of garbage. And doing some research, because I've discovered a long time ago that if you're going to do something, do it right. And if you can afford it, to buy as high quality of a tool as you can afford, that makes sense based on what you're doing. And during that research, I came across this particular product, the Lube-Shuttle, and I haven't even used it yet because I just got it a couple days ago. I ordered it and it took a little more than a week to get here. So I'm really looking forward to using this. So this is a German-made product, and what's different about this is that instead of having to deal with, you know, that plunger type thingy and, you know, peeling off all the stuff and just making a huge mess, you get these tubes. And when I bought this, it came with several tubes, and you just unscrew this and you put it in there, and you basically just, I don't even know if it's probably, no, it doesn't screw in. You just basically stick it in there, and you have your attachment here. And from what I've seen, based on the videos and stuff, is it's like totally clean, super easy. When you run out of grease, you just take this out and put another one in. As most of you know, with your standard grease gun, that's just a big disaster, big mess. I want things to be as simple and as clean and as quick as possible. Now, this grease gun with all of these tubes of grease, it wasn't cheap. I think it was about 150 bucks for this, but I think, you know, if I were to just buy a standard grease gun from Lowe's or something, they're not really super cheap. And so I figured, you know, I need all the grease. I wanted a new grease gun. I might as well get one that looks really nice, and that's going to do what I want. So I got this, and then I'm like, well, I had just bought the LockNLube thing just a few months back, and so I got that. And the one thing that I noticed about this grease gun is it seems to just have your standard fitting on there. And so I'm like, well, hey, I got that LockNLube. Why don't I see if I can use that on here? So now I have the best of both worlds. I got a really good, fast, easy, clean grease gun, and I can use my LockNLube coupler on it as well. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually go out to my tractor, because it's time for me to grease it up again, and actually put all of this to use. I'm going to have to wait until maybe tomorrow or later this week. It's been raining, everything's soaking wet outside, and we are at the very end of October here, so I am losing daylight. Some of you know that I am a software engineer by career, so I'm stuck in my office all day long, and by the time I get out of my office at this time of the year, I'm lucky if I even have an hour's worth of daylight to do something outside before it gets dark. So I am going to go out and put this to use and show you how it all works. And this is going to be my first time using this, second time with this coupler. But if all goes well, I think that this probably makes a really good combination to be able to grease up my tractor grease points with relative ease and the least amount of frustration possible. So, well, go. It may be a few more days for me to get out there and do that, depending on the weather and the daylight I have, but that's coming up next for you guys. All right, so here we are out at the tractor, and I am going to attempt to use this for the very first time. And that'll be a good test to see just how simple this is. If I can load this thing and get grease to flow without any issues. So the steps according to the box are very simple. So they say, take this cap off. Then underneath here, push on this. So about 1/4 of an inch is sticking out. Yeah, it's probably about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Then we'll put it in here and thread it in. I'm not sure if I'm turning, yeah, I guess I am turning it the right way. All right. I mean, that, very, very simple. So let's see. So let's give this a try. All right, as you can see, it's locked on there. That's good. I'll give it some pumps. Okay. So yeah, this works great, and no grease on my hands whatsoever. So the combination of this Lube-Shuttle and the LockNLube, once I got the old grease pushed out that I had in there from using it with my old grease gun, this flows fantastic. Just need to, and yeah, highly recommended. This really simplifies things and no mess whatsoever. Great. I'm glad that I bought this, and this is going to make the occasional greasing really quick and simple. So awesome.